It was early in the morning when the sun slowly rose above the quiet coastal town. The sky was painted with soft shades of orange and pink, and the sound of waves gently crashing against the shore filled the air. This town was not famous, and that was exactly why many people loved it. Life moved slowly here. Fishermen prepared their boats, cafe owners opened their small shops, and seagulls circled above the harbor, calling out to one another as if greeting the new day together. The town was built around an old harbor that had existed for generations. Wooden boats of different sizes floated calmly on the water, tied carefully to the docks. Each boat had a story, and many of them had been passed down from parents to children. The harbor smelled of salt, fresh fish, and wet wood. To outsiders, it might seem ordinary, but to the people who lived there, this harbor was the heart of their lives and memories. Near the harbor stood a small cafe with large windows facing the sea. Inside, the cafe was warm and welcoming. The sound of coffee machines mixed with quiet conversations created a peaceful atmosphere. Locals often gathered here in the morning to talk about the weather, fishing conditions, and small events in the town. Time did not feel rushed in this place. People listened carefully when someone spoke, and silence was never uncomfortable. One morning, a young traveler arrived in town by bus. He carried only a backpack and a notebook filled with handwritten notes. He had been traveling for months, searching for places that felt real and untouched by modern noise. When he stepped off the bus, he immediately noticed how different this town felt. The air was cleaner, the people moved slower, and the sound of the sea seemed to guide everything around him. The traveler walked through narrow streets lined with old houses. The walls were painted in soft, faded colors, and many windows were decorated with flowers. Some houses had small balconies where people sat in the afternoon, watching the street below. As he walked, the traveler felt as if he had stepped into another time, one where people valued simple moments more than constant movement. He eventually found a small guest house near the edge of town. The owner was an elderly woman with kind eyes and a calm voice. She welcomed him warmly and offered him tea before showing him to his room. The guest house was simple, but clean and comfortable. From the window, the traveler could see the sea stretching endlessly toward the horizon, changing color as clouds passed above it. Later that day, the traveler decided to explore the lighthouse that stood on a hill overlooking the town. The path leading to it was long and slightly steep, but the view was worth the effort. As he walked, he passed fields of tall grass moving gently in the wind. The only sounds were his footsteps, the wind, and distant waves. Each step felt calming, as if the world was slowly asking him to breathe more deeply. The lighthouse itself was old but strong, having guided ships safely for many years. Its white walls showed signs of age, but that only added to its character. From the top, the traveler could see the entire town below him. Boats looked small from this height, and the harbor appeared like a peaceful painting. The traveler stood there for a long time, quietly observing, feeling grateful for the silence. As days passed, the traveler began to recognize familiar faces around town. People greeted him with simple smiles and short conversations. He learned the names of fishermen, cafe workers, and shop owners. Everyone seemed connected in some way, and no one felt like a stranger for long. The traveler wrote in his notebook every night, describing not just what he saw, but how the town made him feel. One evening, a strong wind began to blow, and dark clouds gathered over the sea. The town prepared for a storm. Fishermen secured their boats, windows were closed, and streets became quiet. From his room, the traveler listened to the sound of rain hitting the roof and the wind moving through the trees. Instead of feeling afraid, he felt safe, knowing that the town had faced many storms before. The storm lasted through the night, but by morning, the sky was clear again. The air felt fresh and new, as if the storm had washed away all worries. People slowly returned to their routines, checking for damage and helping one another if needed. The traveler joined a group at the cafe, listening to stories about past storms and how the town had always endured. During his stay, the traveler learned that life in the town followed the rhythm of nature. When the sea was calm, people worked. When storms came, people rested. There was no struggle against time, only acceptance. This way of living was something the traveler had forgotten in his busy life before the journey. Here, every moment had space to exist fully. In the afternoons, children played near the harbor while adults watched from a distance. Laughter echoed across the water, mixing with the sound of boats and birds. The traveler often sat on a bench, simply observing. He realized that nothing extraordinary was happening, yet everything felt meaningful. The simplicity of daily life became something beautiful. One day, the elderly guest house owner told the traveler stories about the town's past. She spoke slowly, choosing her words carefully. She talked about changes, losses, and traditions that remained strong. Listening to her felt like listening to history itself. The traveler understood that places were shaped not only by buildings, but by the memories of those who lived there. As his time in the town continued, the traveler felt less like a visitor and more like a part of the community. He helped carry supplies, shared meals, and listened to stories without needing to speak much himself. Silence, he learned, could be a powerful way to connect with others. One evening, he returned to the lighthouse for the last time. The sun was setting, and the sky slowly darkened. Lights began to appear in the town below, one by one. The traveler felt a quiet sadness, knowing his journey would soon continue. But he also felt thankful for everything the town had given him. He realized that this place had taught him something important. Life did not need to be fast or loud to be meaningful. Sometimes, the most important moments were the quiet ones, where nothing seemed to happen, yet everything felt right. On his final morning, the traveler packed his bag and said goodbye to the people he had met. There were no dramatic farewells, only warm smiles and gentle words. As the bus pulled away, he looked back at the town, already knowing that it would remain with him long after he left. During the journey away, the traveler wrote one last note in his notebook. He wrote about the sea, the lighthouse, the cafe, and the people who lived simply and honestly. He promised himself to carry this calmness wherever he went next. Long after the town disappeared from view, the sound of the waves stayed in his memory. It reminded him that somewhere in the world, life continued at a peaceful pace, guided by nature and shared human kindness. And whenever he felt lost again, he knew he could return to that feeling, even if only in his thoughts.